Now I have really good equipment. That's right. Nobody knows what Gene does. He's off doing Gene things. It's time to start the show, so we start the show, man. Getting tea is not an excuse. Here on the Mighty No Agenda stream, I'm Darren O'Neill. When he gets here, he indeed will be Gene Live. Try to spell that in your sleep. This is episode 140 of Unrelenting. It is the Seinfeld of podcasts. Of course, when we do these shows live, you want to be in the troll room. You can get there by going to noagenda.stream. That is where you will find Tom Tomsky, Cotton Gin, Alvaro, No Beret, and of course, a host of others. Oh, and here's Gene. We've already started the show. Gene, you were late.
Where's our music?
It's already been played. It's been done. It's been done. I was like, yeah, he'll be here. He'll be here soon.
Are you starting on early here?
No, right on time.
No, I just turned 11 p.m. right now.
11 p.m. Oh, Moscow time. I forgot.
I mean, 10 a.m. I mean,
there was a few seconds drift between Moscow time and the rest of the world.
Goddamn speed of light.
I know, it's very weird when you start doing annoying. All of these things. I know. Let me look at my levels here too. There's always levels changing, and I realized that the Mac Mini is not invincible. I was streaming along on Mix, and then I opened up Adobe Audition, and everything just stopped on Mix, and I had to.
Oh yeah.
Like, why? Well,
Audition. Well, you should have known that because Audition fucks with the audio driver.
Yeah, well, all audio does. I've done it before, although it depends on, I guess, what.
If you start it first, you can leave it running.
So that's it. That's the trick, is to get Audition open before you open up the other stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just magically works. I'm like, oh, man, what's it doing that for? But I get it.
Yep.
I mean, Windows is not innocent in having audio issues. So it's,
God, no.
It's one of those things where, if you have to, and it wasn't under Windows that would usually be, to be fair to the cult of Mac, in Windows, it would usually then throw you a blue screen of death, which would turn everything off. You'd have to reboot the whole machine and then go through that whole hassle.
Well, I think regardless of platform, if you don't fuck with it for 5 minutes before you start the show, they're both going to be fine. Be like, you got to get it all settled in. Happy New Year. Audio is the thing I have the most issues usually with when I'm doing YouTube.
It is the bane of the existence of
anybody. It's not the video, it's the audio.
Doing content creation, yeah.
Yeah. I did now start finally kind of setting up my workflow better, where I am streaming at 1080p, but I'm recording at 4K, and I'm recording 4 channels at the same time of audio, so I can separate the game sounds from the music, from the microphone, from other people in post.
It's all very fancy.
Well, it's all to be able to fix things that happened.
Right.
Well, if you do a 2-channel mix down live, and then you listen to it and you realize that like one of the sounds was 10 times louder than you thought it was, and then somebody else's mic was way quiet, you're screwed.
Well, that was the early days of podcasting.
Yeah.
Where one voice was really loud.
Yep.
And the other one was like, it's like, no.
Somebody normalized, and other people just don't know how to talk into a mic.
Then they came out with that. It was the free program, the it was just called like the equalizer or something like that. The
Normalizer or something like Levelator. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
The Levelator was like, holy shit, but you couldn't have your theme music on it because that would get all fucked up.
Yeah.
But if you just took the audio of everybody speaking and put that into the Levelator, it was a free thing, and it just magically spit out, it added your compression, it added the magic sauce to make everybody sound like they were about the same volume level.
Well, and it was certainly better than than nothing, but it was nowhere near what it would sound like if you actually recorded a multi-track and did it professionally.
No, it was a very basic correction. Basic. That's what we got, man. Now we got multi-channel. We have noise reduction. We have de-essers because people get really uptight with the sound.
I've never had a problem with the S's. I don't understand why de-essers are even a thing.
I always turn it off on my actual physical, and they exist long before the computer ones. They exist. Physical channel strips too. And I never had a problem.
People that had really loose lips and they had lisps all the time.
Yes, the semblance was really
and then when you take that away, it sounds like Howard Stern.
Right. That's when you add the magic sauce. That's how you get the Howard Stern voice. He really sounds like a squeaky little chipmunk.
He does, yeah. Well, he certainly acts like a squeaky little chipmunk.
He looks like one too. So it all works for good old Howard. So did you have a good New Year? Did you actually do what you wanted to do, which was play
I did exactly what the cartoon that my other co-host Ben posted did.
Dude named Ben. Did CSB do that? I think it was a CSB cartoon.
I don't think so. I think it was somebody else's cartoon. But and I'm sure CSB will correct this if it was his, but it didn't look like his style of cartoon. But
you're saying it was
just like 11:59 gaming. 12 o'clock gaming with one hand and holding up a sparkler with the other. 12:01 gaming with two hands.
Right back in. Professional gaming.
I mean, you got to realize a lot of the people that I'm playing with had already celebrated New Year's because they're in Europe or Australia.
Right.
And they're all ahead of us. You know, we're kind of slow when it comes to this kind of thing.
Well, there's so many different time zones. That was the problem when we did a live
and we're on the slow
years ago. There's way too many time zones and trying to get like everybody like, okay, well, I'm done. I mean, if you're on the East Coast, you're like, fucking California's not doing this for 3 hours.
Yeah,
fuck
well,
you.
Most people just say fuck California.
I know. Get rid of California.
Yeah, pretty much. We just don't really need that. But I think, we'll trade California for Canada. How's that?
That works.
Yeah.
Send all the Canadians into California.
Good trade China, you can have California. We'll take Canada.
It is going to be the 51st state, isn't it?
Sounds like it. Sounds like they're progressing in that direction, and they're going to call for a vote of Canucks.
And they're going to put Wayne Gretzky in
I can't
charge.
Remember the exact. Wayne Gretzky, which is hilarious.
And he's going to give Canada to Donald Trump.
Yep, exactly.
It's all going to happen, kids.
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. is going to be basically run by the UFC, and Canada will be run by the Hockey League. So what else would be better?
Yeah, I mean, hockey is one of the better sports still.
It is the best sport, in my opinion, right next to curling.
Well, I mean, you like all-female nude curling the best.
I like regular curling. I will have to say that when I said that I have a running gag where like I think curling's the best sport, and Ben said, "Yeah, what about women's volleyball, like sand volleyball,
right? Beach volleyball."
I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, that's right. That's an actual sport. That's not just a video game, isn't it?"
Yeah, they do that. They actually play that in real life.
Right. Okay. So, best winter sport, curling.
I mean, they came up with the lingerie football league for a while. Remember? I mean,
it did not last long, though, did it?
No, because women are like, I don't want to get injured.
No. Well, who does, men?
Nobody. Everybody. I don't know. Depends how much money they pay you, I suppose.
Well, it's not even the money, dude. It's the bitches. It's the hoes, right? That's if you talk to the football players, that's what money gets you.
That's the reason.
Don't see a whole lot of football players raking in the big bucks and then investing them and staying single.
No, they all find wives.
Yeah, the wives find them pretty quick, for sure.
Yeah, though there's like a radar.
Oh, yeah, for money.
Nobody is looking for podcasters, Gene. That is the safest place to be if you're looking to avoid a relationship. Podcasting.
Well, okay, but that's because podcasters are literally every person in the country right now. I think the number of podcasts in the United States top 380 million.
Well, overall, but they also, a lot of them only last like 3 minutes.
Yeah, there's a lot of one episode podcasts out there, but everyone's doing a podcast. I don't know a single person who isn't doing a podcast right now. I literally don't know of anyone who's not doing a podcast.
There's a lot of them in the troll room.
I don't really know them.
Total podcasts in the podcast index right now, 4,383,219. But the ones that have been updated in the last 3 months falls to 468,000.
Well, okay, so that's a skewed figure anyway, right? I'm not saying it's not a correct figure. It's a correct figure of the ones that are in the index. But you don't have to be in the index to have a podcast.
No, but probably 99% of them are.
What makes you think that?
Because it's the only way that people get
Spotify has more podcasts than that.
It is, but most of those are also attached to an RSS feed, which would be in the podcast index. I think most of them would be represented. I mean, at least somewhere.
Well, who's going to put them in there? Who's going to put them in there?
Do you think these are done by hand? No, they're little magical elves that find RSS feeds and they add them to all these lists.
Well, where did they find them?
On the internet.
On the internet. Okay.
It's this thing that we use to do the show. But when you go to
I'm just saying that everybody I meet, random people in the grocery store that I don't go to, are all podcasters. Like everyone talks about the podcast.
It is Austin. See, that's why.
Okay. Well, even the guys that are YouTubers, they're still calling themselves podcasters.
And that's only a bone of contention to a very few people.
And actually, that's a good question. So people that only do YouTube podcasts and call themselves podcasters, are those being added to the...
if they have an RSS feed, that is where
Does YouTube have an RSS feed?
I don't believe so. Although that...
Because you realize that with their new general vocabulary, when people say podcast, it doesn't mean diddly squat about indexes or RSS feeds. Well, what it means is I talked into a microphone and often with a camera in my face.
Which a lot of people would say is a talk show rather than I don't know why it's any different when you add video, or if your main thing has video and there's only subsets of that, like the Joe Rogan show, I consider it to be a video show, and that you offer audio only, but you have the video. So I guess it depends on how you look at it.
Joe Rogan always had an actual podcast that was, registered with Apple. And then
the almighty Apple.
They set up a camera. Well, Apple was in charge of podcasts. I think they kind of still are for most people. But they set up a camera to record a video of the podcast and then put that up on YouTube. So the show really, I think, started off, and certainly in his mind,
and has progressed because of the fact that technology now has, and maybe it was different.
I think of it as a video show.
Well, I think,
but I always thought of it as because I never subscribed to his podcast when I was a podcast. I never subscribed to the audio only of Joe Rogan. I always only watched it on YouTube. So to me, it was always a video show. But I understand that the way they started, it was just a podcast.
And I always watched the video of Twit back before when it was good. I haven't seen it in years. But it was considered, in my mind, a video show. But I think it is when there's a difference in having one crappy webcam that you're just adding a video feed to with the audio, which is still king, to like what Rogan has now, which is multi-camera switching and all the. So there's a production means something.
I gotta say something about Twit. The episode of Twit, and I remember, I was never religiously watching Twit, but I would occasionally watch Twit. But the last episode of Twit I ever watched, which was probably like 7 years ago or somewhere around that territory, maybe 6 years ago, was a camera pointed at 4 monitors,
right,
on which there were 4 guys on their laptops.
I thought that was the
stupidest thing in the world.
Yeah, I thought that. Ben Rose and I talked about that. I believe it was on the special Christmas edition of Grumpy Old Ben's. That I think that's where they really started losing their way, which was bringing in remote guest, but doing the stupid fucking thing of putting the monitors around the desk. There was no reason to do that.
No.
I mean, it just looks retarded.
It is retarded. It looks like something out of Futurama.
Right. Like a spoof of a show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the people are so stupid in the future. This is what they do. Oh, look, a show that does that.
Right. They put we put a monitor to have somebody, like, you don't need that. You have the ability just
the
to
next
switch
step
to
is
the person talking.
To put a little wheels on the monitor stand and a little motor in there so you can actually move these little monitors back and forth as people just kind of shift in their chairs and move around.
Well, they did that in Community.
Can annoy people more.
Remember in Community, they did that?
Yes. You know who's got Ben's next show? He's going to start watching his Community.
Wait.
Took me a year to get him to do that.
Dude named Ben has never seen Community.
He's never seen Community, and he's like, I don't know. Why would I?
Oh my!
I'm like, because it's like one of the best shows ever created.
It is a classic television comedy in all the right ways.
And it's right up his alley, too. I don't know why he had never seen it. But our trade was I would watch Babylon 5, which I never saw. And then he would watch Community.
Whoa. Cotton Gin and No Beret both said they've never seen it and have never heard of it. What?
Are they Americans? Because I'm starting to question that.
Wow. I mean, it was one of the first shows that was saved from obscurity.
NBC. How could you not seen it?
Well, it was NBC, and then they dumped it. Yeah. Then they were saved though in the final year because Subway came on and they opened up Subway sandwich shops in the show. Yeah. I mean, it was hilarious. Mm-hmm. It was hilarious.
Yep.
Okay, Cotton Gin's at least heard of it. He's just never seen it.
Uh-huh.
And Cotton Gin's equally amazed that you have never seen Babylon 5.
Well, Cotton Gin should really start subscribing to Just the Good Old Boys.
Oh, that is one of the best podcasts I don't even listen to.
Exactly. That's how I feel about all of your podcasts.
They are, except you listen to them. I wish I did. I need more time. I need more time.
The Babylon explanation is very simple. I was in my 20s when that show came out. And I was busy making money and chasing women.
I mean, did you ever catch any, or were you just chasing?
I did. I caught quite a few. Thank you. But I had other priorities than watching science fiction television, which I did in my youth, and I'm back to doing in my old age.
For 15 hours
a day. That's the circle of life. That's the circle of life, man. You start out with things like watching sci-fi and you end with watching sci-fi.
Right. Video games and sci-fi.
Video games is really just an extension of involvement in the genre, whether you're watching movies or television or playing video games. All of it is just triggering imagination on a specific topic. Now, the guys that play Call of Duty, like their entire lives, you got to wonder about, because how frustrated are you with your life and your work that you have to just nonstop be killing people all the time?
It's a stress reliever, I guess. I don't know.
It is a stress reliever, and I think it's a good stress reliever. And I completely disagree with people that say that video games cause violence. I think video games reduce violence because it's an outlet for people that might otherwise engage in actual violence to be able to do it in video games. It's the same way that, porn is a stress reliever for people that might otherwise force somebody to have sex.
Yeah.
Like their wives who don't really want to have sex with their husbands.
I mean, why would they?
Well,
they're off playing video games. I don't know
the answer to that question, but they sure seem not to, because I'm at that age where every one of my friends bitches about that topic.
Dude named Ben?
Except for the ones that are divorced, who are getting plenty.
Well, once you're on your second or third wife, everything is good.
Is that how that works?
I think so.
I don't know, man. You know the old saying, fool me once, shame on not doing it, but you're not going to fool me again. That's the bottom line.
It's exactly the way they say it. But dude named Ben
I'm quoting Bush right now. So.
He is ready for a wild ride. He'll be quoting Abed and...
I think so. I think he's going to enjoy Community. I think he will.
Troy and Abed.
I'm curious, which character did you most empathize with or feel like represented things you would do or say?
Man, it was a combination, which was the beauty of that whole show, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It was, we're getting closer and closer to saying Chevy Chase and all of those.
I was waiting for that one.
It's like, when I first watched the show, it's like everybody wants to be Jeff Winger. Now you're like, nope, we're all Clark. That's just the way it goes. It's that circle of life yet again.
And he got a bad rap, like people were saying he was horrible to work with on that show. And he may have been, but also so was his character. So how do you know if it was just really good acting?
Right.
Or if Chevy Chase is actually an asshole, which people have been saying since he was on Saturday Night Live.
Could be method acting. You don't know.
He was stuck in that character.
Right. He was stuck in the character. But it's interesting. You hear there's very different things too. You hear about Bill Murray. He's either the coolest guy that anybody's ever met.
Oh, that's all I ever heard.
Every now and then you hear he was an asshole, but
I've never heard anybody say that he's an asshole. Same thing with Keanu Reeves. I've never heard anybody say Keanu Reeves was an asshole.
No, he seems to go out of his way to have people say nice things about him, which is good for somebody who makes it.
The video of him being on a New York subway, looking very unassuming, and then instantly standing up and offering some chick a seat was like something out of a movie. Because no one actually does that. It's like, what the hell, man? Why? Why would you do that?
Is he Canadian? They're all very polite.
Well, that's what they'd like you to think.
No, don't worry about us, eh? No, we're very unassuming.
Look at what's going on with Jordan Peterson up there. No. They're sending him to a re-education camp run by Chinese.
Well, you'd have to,
literally.
Of course.
They apparently they couldn't find a Canadian citizen to do this re-education. They had to go and bring in an H-1B for that.
Oh, you want? Oh, no, I don't. We don't do waterboarding, eh? Can you bring in somebody else, eh? Mm-hmm. We don't. No, very good. No.
Yeah. And Jordan's saying he's going to live stream it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Is waterboarding that would be great.
Little does he realize that he's going to be flying not to Canadian land, but to Uyghur land.
Yeah, it'll be like welcome to Guantanamo Bay South or East or West or whatever it may be.
Yeah, that would be East, but yeah.
Exactly. And No Beret said that's why he didn't watch Community. Chevy Chase was in it. See, so there could be some of that.
No Beret looks like Chevy Chase. What does he mean?
That would be a good look if you want to go out and pick up babes. No.
Yeah, I think Chevy Chase, his character on Saturday Night Live that he created and then continued on in movies like Fletch.
Don't forget Spies Like Us.
Oh, God.
Or the vacation movies.
The vacation movies, I think the first one was great. Actually, European one was pretty damn funny, too. Yeah. They were funny. Or correct.
Clark Griswold.
But again, even the character in Spies Like Us, he basically plays an asshole in everything.
He's good at it.
So is it just that he's leaned into the character, or is it the casting knew that he could do an asshole but couldn't do not an asshole? And to be fair, in Vacation, he's less of an asshole, but he's still got his tendencies.
When you're driving the big old true cruiser and it's the little red sports car, Holiday Row, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then Christy Brinkley comes driving up next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Every guy watching was like, how do you jump out of the, how do you get out of the cruiser? How do you get out of the mobile home and jump into the red Corvette or whatever? It was Ferrari or something like that.
It was something red.
That's all you really. Gene's like, I wasn't looking at the car.
Not really. Nope.
Was not looking at the car. Christy Brinkley, hot before Billy Joel defiled her.
I will say that his wife in that movie was pretty hot too. She was definitely more of a mom type, but she was like a hot mom.
Now you know what Gene's looking for, ladies. And I need to take the
right.
He's looking for a hot mom type. Let's see, a little coffee and metaprolol coming. You got your B12?
Oh, Oh, I forgot. There we go.
There you go. B12, metoprolol, coffee hit. Everybody do what you got to do. It's Scott Adams has the simultaneous sip. Here on Unrelenting, we all pop drugs and supplements at the same time. It's a community thing.
It is a community thing. It's a good thing.
But I mean, really, there was not any single character. The biggest question was always the Britta or what was her name in the show? Andy, yeah.
Annie or Britta or both at the same time?
Well, I mean, both. That would be optimal, obviously, to get a very good... To be able to give you the proper answer, you kind of would need both at the same time.
Britta was like every chick in college. She's got a cause that she's working on.
And that's so
nobody
very
really
annoying.
Understands why. But she's so damn into this obscure cause that is just like running her life. And then occasionally you get a little glimmer of like, oh, it'd be great to date her. And then the rest of the time it's like, oh, just shut the fuck up. And I'm not regressing to any memories or anything.
No, it doesn't sound like it. Doesn't sound like you have any actual experience in this.
None. In zero. No, not at all. And, Annie was the other type. And
just hot.
Well, I mean, like the hot chick who
is caring,
who was kind of a late bloomer,
kind of sweet, right? Wasn't aware of how hot she was.
Like once she got contact lenses, it's like, whoa, Annie, you look hot. But back in high school, when she was wearing those ginormous glasses, and was walking around with a backpack while she was a senior, no.
Billy Bones in the troll room. He does a podcast to walk through the mind. He said, there's a place down the road here that offers B12 shots for $10. I mean, do you mean like a pharmacy?
Yeah. There's a coffee shop in Austin that a buddy of mine used to always go to that I always get a B12 shot and when I go there.
I mean, like, wait, is this like a B12 shot that you drink or somebody actually is going to jab you and give you a B12 shot?
Oh, no, he jabbed you.
Like random. It's just like a guy. He's just sitting there outside of his Winnebago.
It's a chick with nose rings and lots of tattoos. What are you talking about?
He's like, you want a B12 shot, man? $10. Like, how do you know it's B12? How do you? Who are you trusting?
You can also get a hemp shot.
Interesting. It's a weird world that we live in.
Yeah,
I prefer to get all my drugs the old-fashioned way. I just buy them at the.
Well, you have to pay for these
at Amazon. Well, yeah. I just like to take them in the pill form. That would be much easier.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess shots may be more effective.
B12 is tricky in pill form.
I mean, there's stories that people are coming out now saying, hey, I saw Joe Biden like mumbling like a incoherent child. And then they gave him some pills and all of a sudden he was all popped up.
Yeah.
Like, is that a surprise to anybody at this point?
No.
I mean, come on. We all saw that going on. That's the only way you go from totally incoherent to fine, especially when it's like, well, the later in the day it gets, the worse Joey gets. He would be kind of a great character, though. If
you realize he's still the president of America, right?
Joe, no, he can't be. That doesn't sound right.
Didn't we get rid of him 4 months ago? What the hell, man?
I know. Let's check on this. Wait, this can't be. I mean, and now
we're coming up to Obama's last term.
And people are releasing. This was on No Agenda, and I've seen a couple of others on X. And it's mainly black women making videos. Kamala's coming back, everybody. Oh, it's happening. Oh, my goodness, you're not going to believe. Oh, yeah, Kamala's going to be the president. I'm like, what kind of delusional world is this, and why is this being done? The only game really for me is, do the people believe what they're saying, or is this just a put on? And I can't figure it out, and that's annoying. Because, no, Kamala's not coming back, people. And I don't know if this is just to try to cause more violence. I mean, one, it sounds a lot like election denial when you're like, oh, no, they caught this was. Now we see this whole election was cheated. It's like, wait. So now And who can take this seriously? And it's like, if people on the left are taking it seriously, it's like, wait. You haven't figured out this is all a big fucking scam. It's all a big joke because you're the people that were like, oh no, we can never believe that the elections might not be completely honest and fair. Now they're like, oh yeah, you're going to see, man, they uncovered how they cheated. Like, wait, but you told us elections can't be cheated on. They're the most fair thing ever.
But the Republicans keep cheating all the time anyway.
Don't they all keep cheating?
Well, not as far as the Democrats are concerned.
It's like you have to define cheating.
So I left a post here, a comment on somebody's video, says Macs are for people who know what they want. You should stay on the PC. And
wait, what does that exactly mean?
Exactly what it says. Then I put a little winky face in there.
Oh, well, winky face.
In case people are morons and don't understand what humor is.
And then what is humor?
Yeah, exactly. And then somebody else posts, of all the dumb comments here, this one wins the prize.
Oh, wait.
So I got a prize for this.
I was like, where's the prize? What are you getting?
I know, right?
She's like, what does
Give me my prize, man. Give me my prize.
Do I get a gift card? It's a
typical video of one of these PC people talking about how I almost switched to a Mac, but then I realized they suck.
Fruit basket, maybe?
Well, you know what? You really should stay on a PC, dumbass.
It depends what you mean by
dumbass.
It depends what you mean by.
He couldn't figure out the keyboard placement.
What?
They didn't have a Windows key, so it's obviously bad.
Well, I do have a new keyboard now without the Windows key because it was driving me nuts. But here's the thing.
You prove my point.
If you want it, it's how easy your brain rewires itself. I spent, 2 to 3 weeks.
Some people's brains are a little different than others.
Oh, I'm sure. And some never rewire themselves and they just keep pounding their head into the wall like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yep. So the fact that I had to use the Windows key as the command key, which is what Apple calls it, but it was 2 over.
Which incidentally is what it was before the Windows key was ever on the keyboard. You remember that, right?
And yeah.
This is the original layout for keyboards.
But I got so used to doing the space bar and then the key 2 over to the left to open up things. Now that I got the correct keyboard, I'm like, oh, fucking hell, I got it. But now I keep hitting the wrong.
It's harder now.
It is. It's like, because I was used to then going to doing that one. So it's like, it's going to take a couple of weeks. I just have to slow down and actually look down for a second and go, oh, I need to do this one.
Well, I get it because remember, I bought a new keyboard not that long ago, and it's still a PC with a PC keyboard, same keys, but the new keyboard dimensions are different because even though the keys are the same distance apart, the keyboard is a no bezel keyboard.
Yeah, it's much different.
It's tiny on the desk in comparison because the edge of the keyboard is literally at the very edge of like your control key, your enter key, your escape key. You know, it's a very small square underneath. Whereas the old keyboard was the the K915? No, it was the K9 something. It was the big ass keyboard from Logitech, the big ass gaming keyboard,
which is what they call it. It's you just look up big ass gaming keyboard.
It's giant. Yeah. It was almost twice the footprint.
Well, that's why I got one that pretty much matched. I got a Keychron that pretty much matched the keyboard I was using, including the same Gateron blue switches, because I like the blue switches.
You like the blues, really?
Yeah.
You're not a fan of the greens or the cherries, huh?
I've never tried the cherry.
Cherry is probably the most common of the gaming keyboards.
The blue has just that nice feel to it and the nice sound. And it's what I was using.
Slightly different sounds and feels.
Yeah. So it just kind of, again, what you get used to, I suppose.
I'm a total convert to the magnetic switches at this point.
Oh, well, of course, that's the magic keyboard that the things don't even have to connect.
No.
I'll have to try one of those at one point. This one, of course, I leave it plugged into the USB just to annoy you. I mean, it works without it and all, but I just,
I do the same thing. That's not going to annoy me.
like, but that's wireless, but you're not using it.
I know.
You have three different things, and you can just you can swap the buttons out from Windows to Mac if you want to do that. They came with the extra keys, so if you want to convert it from the Windows to the Mac, you can actually do that with the keys itself.
Good.
It's not as light of a backlighting. There's the other one that I had, but it's fine. I don't, because again, you really shouldn't have to look down at the keyboard for, except, where am I placing my hand? Maybe when you're doing that. But even that, it's not really a big deal. And it seems to work fairly well. The thing that's going to take me a little while to get longer adjusted to is the trackpad. And I think it's because of the 3 monitors.
Just use a mouse.
I do. I keep going back to the mouse. I want to keep the trackpad. I did order another of the hubs or whatever you want to call it. And I think I might get rid of the one that I've got because I still have until the end of January.
Okay.
Because I ordered one which with a 2 terabyte SSD drive, which will fit inside of the new one.
Yeah.
It's about the same cost. The only thing it doesn't have, it's a few less ports than the one that I bought for like $270, and it doesn't have
crazy to buy
the Ethernet, right? Well, it was the 2.5 Ethernet that kind of sold me on it, and I'm like,
but I just got one of those for like $30.
Yeah, so I mean, I can add that dongle if I want to do it, and I'll have 2 extra terabytes of fast storage.
I mean, honestly, the only mistake you made in ordering your computer is not getting a 10 gigabit for $100. That's a well worth it upgrade.
Maybe, but it would have taken weeks longer, and I wouldn't have been able to get it through Amazon, buying it through Amazon, although I guess it turned out really didn't make that much of a difference.
You don't have an Apple guy?
No, I could have an Apple guy, I suppose. And I was just like, well, let's see. This is going to be that dreaded foot, dipping your toe into the ecosystem. Because the concept was if this all works out, then in a year or less, I could
buy a different one.
Right. Yeah. Give the wife this one and be like, here you go. No more Windows machines in the house because fuck them. Windows 11, no.
Yeah. Windows 11, no is right. I'm still not upgraded. I only have one machine running that.
It's like, don't want to do it. And it's like, at that point, they're going to force you to do it.
Well, and that's why I have one machine, because the laptop I bought this year came with it. Can't not get it.
And yes, it's the gestures that I need to work on with the trackpad.
You want to use that? Yeah. You can do that. Sure.
And a lot of that, like, boom, just do something. Then all the screens you're looking for pop up. Boom, do something else. It's like magic.
Yeah, that's 3 fingers up. Yep. All the screens should pop up.
3 fingers up, 3 fingers down.
Yeah, you do get used to it, but I just have all that stuff programmed on mouse buttons.
Well, you have a mouse with like 4,000
Sorry, not a mouse.
buttons.
I have a trackpad buttons.
You got 8,000. Yep. Well, so you have a trackpad.
Not a trackpad. Well. God damn it.
See, Gene, take that. Gene, take another B12, Gene.
Yeah, I think I need one. It's
Sit down, Gene. Relax. It's okay.
It's
You're
the
doing
thing
a podcast
with the ball. What do you call these now?
It
is a track ball.
Trackball. Yes, you got to have
ball.
You have to have your ball.
I did this because a friend of mine really liked track balls, and he was hemming and hawing about buying one. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's only $60. Just buy the damn thing.
So I bought one and try it.
Yeah, that's so I bought one, and I kind of liked it. So it's still plugged into my Mac.
You're like, whatever works for you.
Yeah, well, I just got tired of charging the trackpads, because it's wireless. So.
Oh, the mouse that I've noticed that it's not like the olden days. The old Logitech mouse that I had.
Oh, it'll work forever.
The new ones, I mean, it feels the same, but yes, it doesn't last as long. And I do have to really watch now because I don't have I'm sure I can find the software, but I don't have the software on the Mac. So it doesn't
work without it, but
it doesn't pop up like your battery's about to die.
Oh, right.
So it was the first time in the longest time. I'm like, oh shit, why did the mouse stop working? And I'm like, oh. But then you plug it in and it works while it's charging.
Yeah, it works fine if it's plugged in. The other thing with that mouse is the software should enable some more button functionality too.
Ooh.
Like you can program special functions on the buttons.
I like special functions on the buttons.
It does that. I tell you, ever since I got back to doing the videos, I'm really appreciating my my Contour Shuttle Express.
Contour Shuttle Express, which is what?
It's a input device used for video editing that lets you go frame by frame or high speed by turning a dial. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen them. Like every editing bay has one of these things.
And exactly what kind of video are you editing?
My YouTube videos.
What? You edit those?
Yeah. What do you think? Of course I edit them. I have to do 3D titles and stuff. I have to.
It's like so is it like the beginning of Star Wars with totally different music, of course?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of da 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 da, it's da 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 da. It's like totally different.
Totally different. Exactly. It's AI, so it's all different. No, there's stuff you need to edit and put in. I mean, first of all, I make my thumbnails in DaVinci, in the video editing software.
Which Bandrew has realized makes zero difference on the video.
Then we know why his revenues are down, don't we?
He did A/B
it makes
testing.
A huge difference.
No, not for his.
It makes a enormous difference.
Not for his topics, I might guess. There could be difference between the different topics on there and what people are looking for. But he's done extensive testing.
There have been studies done on this by people with hundreds of millions of subscribers.
You mean YouTube people who are trying to get you to spend more money on YouTube?
No. People that are on YouTube making money off of YouTube have done these.
Oh, and what about the honey scam?
Okay, let's talk about that because I don't think it's a scam.
The honey scam is everywhere.
It is. Everyone seems to be talking, and one dude puts up on a fucking video about it, and then everybody has to talk about it.
Especially all the people who had done the ads for honey, like Marquez Brownlee.
Oh, God. Marquez is like, oh, shit, you got to do control on this thing.
Yes.
We're fucked.
Yes.
So here's the thing. I'll give a brief synopsis of what honey is and what they did, and then we can delve into it, unless you want to do that.
No, go ahead.
So honey was an extension that came out a few years back, incidentally, it wasn't the first one to do this either. It was just the most promoted. And I don't know if it was bought by PayPal or if it was started by PayPal, but either way, PayPal owns it right now. But the point of honey is, hey, load this extension up, and any purchase that you make online, we will check against our database for known discount codes for it. And so let's say you buy pizza from Domino's and you're on a Domino's website, and you go to the checkout page, you click the extension, or maybe even does it automatically just by looking at what page you're looking at, and it'll pop up and say, hey, honey found 3 coupons that work at Domino's. Here are 3 codes you can try, and each one has different savings. Now, sometimes those codes wouldn't work. Sometimes those codes would work, but I'd say it was probably about 50-50 toss up, whether it would find some discount or not. And sometimes it would surprise you by finding, discounts that were surprisingly good.
Well, you're right. And it was working, which is how it grew.
It does work. Yeah. It was absolutely working. And so people start getting used to this idea that, hey, anytime I buy anything, now on Amazon, it's a little different because they don't have coupon codes for Amazon. What they do is they check against other stores, like say Walmart, and say, oh, well, this TV, you can buy the exact same model at Walmart for $15 less. Click here to go to the Walmart website, and it would just pop open the Walmart website. So you would think, well, this sounds great, and it is great. The problem that this mentioned in this video, and again, I can see who it's a problem for, and it's not a problem for the consumer.
Correct.
Is that when they do these searches, or when they click here to apply coupon code, they change the cookie to indicate honey as the affiliate for the sale, which means they're getting a commission from your purchase, which again, as a consumer, what do I give a shit who gets affiliate commission? I don't care. I got a discount. So if anyone should get a commission, probably should be them, not the,
it depends on exactly what's being done, because in this case, it sounds like if you're Marquez Brownlee, who's got 1 billion viewers.
Well, that's what I was getting to, is that the actual people that are all pissed off about this, ironically, are the people that used to do ads for Honey and already got paid by Honey, frankly. And so they got real money, like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars from Honey to do ads for Honey. But now they're butthurt at the fact that, hold up, I have an affiliate code on the Marquez Brown for you to buy a fancy Android watch that I just tested,
right,
and get $10 off. And my discount code is Marquez Brown. But if you clicked on Honey and it says, hey, we can save you $20, then you don't use the Marquez Brown code anymore. You use the Honey code.
Right. They're losing the
and
money.
So he doesn't get the commission from advertising a product. Well, that's normal. That's called the world we live in. That's reality. If you see an ad that Target does that has Pepsi in the ad, but then you go to Walmart and you buy Pepsi, is Target, like, are they entitled to then go after you or Pepsi and say, hold on, you first saw the commercial for Pepsi on one of our ads, therefore you have to buy it from us. You can't buy it in a different store.
It is slightly different only in the fact that you understand what you're doing if you go to a different store. The case being made here would be, hey, people are using coupon code Unrelenting. They think they're helping the podcast they're listening to, and they're not. That's really the only...
Yeah, no one thinks that. That's a red herring.
But it's
that's
also...
total bullshit.
It's also if you're like, hey, and this is the way it's set up. Okay, Unrelenting is going to save you $9.99 on this widget. And then Honey goes, yeah, but we could save you $10. You'd prefer that, wouldn't you? And the people will sell you out for a penny. And they've got the deal with the person you're buying from. They're getting a better rate and whatever. And so this is how the whole concept
There's absolutely nothing nefarious here. What it does point to is the fact that none of these people that are promoting the product read the fine print. None of them.
You have to understand how coupon codes work. And when you add a browser add-on that's going to do a middleman job, it's like, well, what do you think it's doing? I mean, the hilarity is, it is, again, if you send somebody with your affiliate link to any other place, assuming that Honey has an affiliate account with them, well, of course, they're going to hijack that. Now, if they're not telling people...
Yeah, it's not hijacking. That's the thing. It
kind of is.
To call it hijacking is to use... But
you've also said it's okay. It's kind of like when you... No, it's not an emotional word because you're being a man in the middle.
There's no hijacking. There's no middle. No, that's absolutely a false analogy. There is no man in the middle.
But there is.
You're either clicking on Honey...
It's an app in the middle.
No, not at all. You're either clicking on Honey or you're not clicking on Honey.
Ooh, Billy Bones wants a Unrelenting browser add-on. Can you write that, Bemrose? That would be nice. We need an Unrelenting browser add-on that just gives us money every time they do a crypto thing.
Yeah, every time they, exactly.
Or go to their PayPal account. It just gives us some. That's the way. But I think there is
that would be a middleman. If every time somebody goes to their PayPal and you steal some of their money, that would be a man in the middle. Absolutely.
It would be very similar,
like molasses.
With these apps that you agree to the terms and conditions, nobody reads them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you could really go, I'm with you on the fact that as long as it existed in the terms and conditions, there's not much you can do. Because I'm the asshole. Do you remember it? It's probably still going on. One of my favorite eBay scams, and I don't even think it's a scam.
Yeah, didn't you write a sniper?
Well, right. I wrote the sniper, but my favorite thing is, the new hot whatever comes out, the new whatever is selling for tons of money on eBay, and somebody puts up, well, okay, I've got the Tickle Me Elmo empty box.
Yeah.
And then somebody buys the box for the price of what it would be with the item in it. And then they're like, wait, they only sent me the box. It's like, yeah, but you go back and read the ad.
That's
it's like, this is for the box only.
Yeah. Yep.
I have no fucking sympathy for the people that fall for that, who don't read what they're fucking buying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a little bit of that to this. And the honey thing's hilarious. And the fact that the people that pushed people to get the honey.
Yeah, they're the ones that are all pissed about it now. I know.
They're the ones that are losing the money because they're the ones that are losing the referral cash.
The main point of the honey is that it's for the end user. Okay. It's not for advertisers. It's not for YouTube. It's not for influencers. It is for the end user to look for the cheapest deal. And your trade with them is, we will get you the best coupon codes and the cheapest pricing if you let us be the referrer. That's the trade. There's nothing illegal about it. There's nothing nefarious about it. What they're saying is, if you allow us to be the referrer when you go to a site, then we will give you coupon codes that you otherwise may not be able to find on your own. You might be able to find them, but it's not easy.
Yes.
Here, it's easy. You click one button and it's easy.
There have been multiple, granted, some having better success than others, some being totally scammy. Retail Me Not is one of the oldest that's been around forever. Now with AI, I think it's going to get a lot easier to find the coupon codes and have a
but do you have to, or do you want to just trade out? Because this costs nothing to the consumer. Like, if you agree to just have them be your affiliate code, they will find you the best deals. How's that at all any of YouTube's or any of these influencers' business? This is a relationship between you as the end user and the software company, PayPal.
Yeah, but I gave them a coupon code, and all of a sudden this one didn't give me my money.
Yeah, that's because they didn't buy it using yours. They bought it using somebody else's that they have an actual relationship. Because guess what? I never signed a goddamn thing with Marquez Brown saying that I'm going to buy shit directly from him. Fuck that. No.
It is an interesting...
I did agree to terms of service with Honey. Well, and I actually didn't. I never installed Honey. But I use a product that's essentially the same thing, but it's from Chase, the credit card company.
Yeah, I always thought, I looked
at Chase Shopping or something.
It's always like, well, why? All of these things always seemed a little bit scammy to me.
They are.
Because they're looking at, a part of what they're doing is, even if they don't give you, as you said, about 50% of the time, maybe more, there is no coupon code.
Yeah.
But you're giving them access to everything you're buying. So you are their data. They know everything you're looking to buy, everything you're buying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is a part of this. But to get an idea of...
But that's not illegal.
No, it's absolutely not
You're
illegal.
giving all your data to Google by having them host your email through Gmail. They literally are reading every single one of your emails. Why? Because they want to know what topics you're talking about in emails, because they want to give you ads of those things.
This all comes down to, it seems that the company is taking... maybe at the very worst advantage of influencers who are probably trying to take advantage of people in the first place. So it's
I think this is a big brouhaha about nothing. A lot of people are making videos about it because they never read the fucking fine print and they already got paid.
Well, and they're scared.
And I'll bet. And here's the funny part. I guarantee you, as part of their contract with Honey, there are terms in there saying that there will be no lawsuits between us and that everything will be mediated, and any information about the mediation is going to be non-disclosed to any third parties. And any one of these guys that's talking about it right now is probably breaking their contract with Honey as we speak.
Well, a lot of them, it's not even having a contract, because Marquez Brownlee talked about them I think it was 4 years ago. So if there was any kind of contract,
he got paid for that. He absolutely got paid for it.
Well, no, right. It's not over. Again, you have your, you talk about it, boom, you do what you want. And this is where it's also very, as somebody who is a professional Amazon reviewer, I can let you know that by reading the reviews of the products, I was always interested in the products that I got to review that totally sucked.
Yeah.
Were horrible. And then you would go in and you would read the other reviews that the people getting it for free. It was obvious that like 95% of them did not open the product. They were probably just selling them without even opening the box. For pennies on the dollar, that was the scam. And they would leave a 5-star review. Often it wasn't even about the product which was hilarious. But in this case, this shows you the danger of somebody like a Marquez Brownlee, who, anybody on YouTube that's got 1 million plus huge audience, that
I think he's got like 20 million.
It's huge. And you get somebody that's like, hey, I want you to promote our product. And what he did was the very least that's what, you and I would do. You'd go, I installed it. I used it a couple of times. It worked. It seemed legit. And you were then willing to throw your weight behind it, even though you knew nothing about it. So even forget whether it is actually a scam or not. You didn't have any proof that these people weren't full of shit in the first place.
Well, it's PayPal.
Well, so of course
that's
they're
the other
full of
point
shit.
That everyone seems to be forgetting here is that this is not some little fly-by-night company that you can like sue for being bad. This is one of the largest banks in the country that you're fucking with. You don't think they're going to have good lawyers? You don't think that you will lose?
To Perplexity.AI, the company was founded in 2012 by 2 guys in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
A small round of personal investment and support from family members. They struggled to attract investors because nobody thought a desktop browser extension was worth anything, which, I mean, is it still desktop only, or is this anything on mobile, or maybe it is still just desktop only? Either way, they, by March of 2014, had acquired 900,000 organic users, which was pretty good for March of 2014, I suppose. They had a seed round of 1.8 million. By January 2018, they had raised a total of 40.8 million in venture backing. This is a fucking app. 40 million it's blowing my mind. But here's the thing. If this is correct, and if it's not, somebody let me know. PayPal acquired the company. What do you think they acquired this company for?
$1 billion.
$4 billion in cash in 2020.
It's pretty obvious that approach is worth a lot of money.
$4 billion in cash.
Yep.
For
in what year?
Browser add-on 5 years ago. It's January 2020.
Okay, so all the big ads came after the acquisition.
Yes.
So
hey,
PayPal put some serious money into paying for it.
Browser add-on, $40 billion, quadrillion dollars.
$4 billion.
I know.
I think it's worth it.
You think, would $4 billion interest you, Gene? Would it?
Yeah, because the company made over $1 billion in 1 year. Yeah, I'd say $4 billion is a good price for it.
Would that be something that would interest you? $4 billion in cash? When they say they say it was a $4 billion.
Can I get that in rubles?
In cash. I'm like, I just want to know how the PayPal guys show up with $4 billion in cash. Like, here you go.
The phrase in cash simply means it's not over time. It's a single payment. That's all in cash means.
No, in cash, Gene. That means it's in cash money.
No, that's not what it means.
Otherwise, they would just say they paid you by.
No, because there's 3 ways to acquire a company. You can pay in cash. You can do a stock trade, or you can do a payments over time. So it's essentially a loan. And so saying it's in cash means they got money immedially, but it was definitely not in cash.
Let me keep my delusions.
And remember, the investors that put in 40 million. You remember the investors that put in 40 million?
They got a good payout.
They got at least 40 and maybe 400 million.
They got a decent deal.
Yeah.
Just for people to have to find coupon codes for
big market, man.
Buy
the big market. and they were the brand leader in that market. So,
well, a lot of people buy a lot of stuff.
I think there's a lot of brouhaha over nothing. I think that it's a neat video. It's kind of like there's videos like that made all the time back on network television in the 80s and 90s.
Well, I think it's correct, but we're
going to uncover this scam. And then, okay, so it's something that most people didn't know, but yet all the people signed the contract agreeing to it. Okay, how's that a scam?
Well, and getting people behind your cause when they're like, so wait, PayPal screwed me? No, they screwed me. Well, fuck you. I don't care that PayPal screwed you.
Pretty much. Yeah, PayPal did not screw. Honey wasn't screwing the people who they actually had terms of service with. They weren't screwing the end users that were installing this to save money. If there's any argument about them screwing somebody legally, it is the people that expected viewers of their videos to use their coupon code. Well, first of all, that's always optional. I can watch a video of a review of a microphone by Bandrew and then just go to Amazon, buy the mic. I don't have to use this link. Nothing says I have to use his link. I have no contract with him. It doesn't exist. So consequently,
I think most people understand this is how the business works. This is why it's always most of the people will tell you up front. Otherwise, you can tell by make sure you spell it right when you go put the coupon code in. Yeah. Because if the coupon code isn't correct, then they're not getting paid. That's how the business knows, which is the easiest way for a business to do fairly cheap advertising.
Yeah,
which is, get a podcaster to talk about it. We could talk about
I sent you a page. I sent you, I think, a page or a link or forwarded you an email or something of all the promos that I'm getting now from people that want to pay me on my tiny little YouTube gaming channel to talk about their video games. And what they're offering is like $2,500, $3,000,
if you get a sale, right? I mean, this isn't just buying time. It's kind of, you could make up to X amount
but
of
it's
money.
Not big numbers. It's like if you get 100 people buying our game, then you get $2,000.
Right, but it's one of those things where they lose nothing. This is why these like Casper mattresses and other things were huge. Because if we go out and say, hey, use coupon code Unrelenting and nobody does, they haven't paid anything. We've still given them a commercial.
I still have a coupon code for the EMP shield. Device that you hook up to your car so that when the nukes come, it still runs.
Well, you should. I mean, you need that on your Cybertruck.
I met the CEO. I met the CEO of the company. I still have a coupon code for that. Have I even been sold? No, I haven't gotten a dime.
It's like, this is it.
Unless, of course, people are using honey.
You got to get that coupon code.
Yeah.
The coupon code Unrelenting gets you life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, Bemrose.
Yeah, exactly.
Always use coupon code
Sir Gene gets you I can't remember what the discount, but it gets you like some discount if you buy a EMP shield. I don't remember if it was 5% or 10% or something like that.
We so quickly went down the Bemrose rabbit hole of coffee.
What's that now?
We got a bunch of coffee sent to us from Dame Slamey because I was complaining about not having any Gigawatt Coffee, which is a no agenda sponsored dude.
No.
I mean, they say they're not a sponsor, of course, but they send in $200 every show and they have something.
One of the cheapest advertising things you can do is exactly what they're doing, which is promoting a product on a show that doesn't allow advertising.
Exactly. It's like PBS.
Yeah.
Adam's going to hunt me down and kill me now. You compared us to PBS?
Oh, yeah. You're so banned off the network now. But we did it when I had my buddy created the metal wallet and we did the Kickstarter. I was donating every week during the Kickstarter. Adam was reading that every week during the Kickstarter. We had 60 people that bought the wallet with the no agenda as the code. So we know how many people that listen to no agenda, how many wallets were actually sold.
Right. But I got the coffee and if it was full bean and I had a little electric grinder.
You need a burr grinder.
That's what Pembroke said.
Well, It's because Bemrose lives in the coffee city and you clearly don't.
I know. So the wife got me a burr grinder, and now we're like,
Good.
We are now pulled out. And we took it from my mom's house when she stopped using it. A Mr. Coffee that's probably 15 years old. We're going to upgrade that. God. But it still works. But it's like for the first time ever making a pot of coffee at a time rather than the evil little K-cups. And the quality is way better. I'll give you that. K-cups. And it's cheaper, too.
Boy, you should try doing it the way coffee's meant to be drunk by having an espresso machine.
I had one for a short period of time, like when we first got married. I mean, that would keep you wide awake.
Well, sure, I guess. You could also drink decaf, but...
Why would you... coffee and decaf is kind of like the dry January where I just got the big ad from Binny's Beverage Depot, the huge alcoholic purveyors here in Illinois. All of the non-alcoholic alcohols. I'm like, are you fucking out of your mind? Like we have non-alcoholic beer. We have non-alcoholic wine. We have non-alcoholic mixed drinks in cans for dry January. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't drink anymore.
Well, you don't drink any less either.
No, I do drink way less. I used to drink quite a bit.
It's the old bit, take my wife, please.
I know exactly.
I don't drink anymore. I don't drink any less. Of course. I just drink
the same.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that was it. We got the burr grinder now, and now we're buying coffees in full beans, which the Michigan Cherry, that was the one K-cup that is like crack. From the local grocery, My Jer. Those nice Dutch people. They have Frederick's brand Michigan Cherry K-cups. And I thought that was like really, really... The aroma coming off that is just amazing with the K-cup. Oh, when you grind the beans, so good. I don't know how they get the cherry flavor in there. It's probably cancer causing.
Artificial.
But it is so delightful.
Yeah. I mean, fresh coffee, when it's freshly ground, smells very nice, I think.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And the grinder is working just the way it should. So the burr grinder, I mean, and you can tell it's like, oh, yeah, the other one didn't really get anywhere near a consistent grind where this is like, it's all pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
So we learned slowly here. I mean, finally, 55 years old in a couple of months, finally learned how to make coffee.
Well, it's about time. What can I say?
We are a value for value show, though. We do have a few people to thank. I mean, this is a whole new year.
No freaking ads. God damn it.
For Unrelenting, it is a whole new year. We should
advertise for honey or something at least.
I know. I did just add a page last night.
This episode brought to you by honey.
Unrelenting.com/donate finally exists.
Oh, fancy.
And it is with PayPal. So if you hate PayPal, it's the way to go still.
Well, I hear a little bird told me there might be some other options for donating before too long.
There might be. And I also wanted to point out that when I went to do this in WordPress, I mean, I was just going the old fashioned way and doing the email, the HTML bits that PayPal gives you for their buttons. But I noticed built into WordPress is if you have a Stripe account, you can also take donations directly through Stripe from
credit cards. Yeah.
So we can, I mean, I guess if people really hate PayPal, and I don't want PayPal and their buttons, it annoyed me because I had to make two. Well, I didn't have to make two buttons, but I wanted to make two buttons because with Unrelenting.show, I wanted to give you all of the offers. And in Unrelenting.show/donate, now we have a button. The first one is for a one-time weekly or monthly donation. In this, I used your pretty much what you're doing over on Just Two Good Old Boys is allows for a $3, $5, $10, or put whatever you want.
Yep.
And with the other one, it lets you do a more sustaining, more substantial, I should say, one-time monthly or yearly subscription, and just let you put whatever amount you want to put in.
Yeah, put that yearly $150 subscription in there, and then people forget about it.
that's the way to do it. Then now you don't even have to listen anymore. No, Tom Tomsky's like 2 buttons. It is better. 2 buttons is better than it gives you way more choices to do the exact same thing. But it only allowed for one time and then 2 other ones. And they had weekly, monthly, or yearly. It's like, well, how hard would it have been to just do it all in one?
Yeah.
Why couldn't we just do that? But okay, PayPal. I get it. If people want the Stripe, we might be able to go ahead and add that. But it's like, again, this is like more bank accounts. This is the one thing that I loved about the whole Lightning concept is that at the point of payment, it could easily split between 2 accounts. I would love something, and we had talked about this. I would love something from PayPal, from Stripe, from Venmo, from anybody that we could set up a donation page and then say, process this by sending half to this address and half to this address. So Gene gets his bit, I get my bit. I don't have to take in funds and then do taxes and then send Gene a W-2 or whatever the form is. Yeah. It would be much easier to have an account that can kind of do that split for you. The splits was great with Lightning. It might be the best thing about it. With that said, we do have a few people to thank for today's show. I mean, it is 2025. What? It's a whole new thing.
It is.
Jay Cotticini, I've heard that name before. He came in with $50.
Wow.
And he says, no Bill O'Reilly talk, no Star Citizen talk, no donations, no coincidences. Merry Christmas.
That's true. Yeah, I think we have to talk about Star Citizen in order to get donations is what he means.
You think so? More Bill O'Reilly and Star Citizen?
Well, that's what it sounds like. More Bill O'Reilly, more Star Citizen. The way you read it, that's what it sounds like.
Okay, so we have to definitely add that to the bingo card every
Put
show.
It on the list, yeah.
O'Reilly's been off for like 2 weeks, though. I mean, because he's old. And
Star Citizen sucks.
So we got to get into it. You're in the new game now. Gene's totally
the new
cheating.
Old game, the game that's been around longer.
You can
40
run with
years.
scissors.
It celebrated its 40th anniversary.
See, that is something with staying power.
Yep. Good game.
Jay says, Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for supporting.
I've been getting a lot of Merry New Year's lately.
Well, I mean, maybe people are looking to get married.
I mean, Merry New Year. Happy Christmas.
And we were planning on doing a show last week, but my mom had a doctor's appointment, so the wife had to drive her.
I was planning on doing a show. I think you were not planning on doing one pretty much from the get-go.
Well, I said that, but then I'm like, okay, I'm going to be home anyway. But then it was like, no, she got a diverticulitis flare-up.
It just sounds like you're blaming your mom for something that you
exactly, right? How dare you get diverticulitis?
Yeah.
It was right before Christmas, which is the worst time because she was 4 days before Christmas that this all, because she got on the antibiotics and they're like, well, we'd like you to do 3 days of a liquid diet, then slowly start bringing solid foods back in. And that's the worst thing you could hear like 3-4 days before Christmas. When you're like, we're making the big tenderloin.
Liquid diet, so you just have to drink alcohol the whole time?
I think so. Or you put the beef tenderloin in a blender.
Why don't you just call it an Irish diet?
Ah, yes. It gets a little bit. You just put the Irish whiskey right into the broth.
Right in the mouth.
It just happens, man.
You bypass the broth. It goes in the mouth.
It fixes everything. Just boom.
Just get some lamb soaked in Irish whiskey. Oh my God.
That's the way you do it.
Some of the worst food on the planet, man.
The Irish food is delightful as long as you have the Irish whiskey.
Horrible.
The Irish oats are great. And I mentioned that 1,000 times already. It was the Hotel Europa in Belfast at the buffet where they had the Irish oats.
Hold up. That's not Irish. That's English.
I know. Well, it was in Northern Ireland. But
that's English.
But this was the first place I had ever seen Irish whiskey out on the buffet with the oatmeal, so you could pour a little bit of Irish whiskey on top of the oatmeal.
Wow.
They had a bottle of...
that's creative.
Bushmills, yeah. So you put a little bit of a brown sugar, then put a little bit of Bushmills on it. Just the way, it's the way you start your day. And according to the history, the Hotel Europa was the most bombed hotel in Europe for like decades because of
the
all,
IRA.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, it was not a safe place to be.
No. Well, I haven't been to Ireland in what seems like forever. Ireland was my last bachelor trip back before I got married.
And then you actually came back and got married?
I know, right?
You should have stayed in Ireland.
Well, yeah. It's very pretty. It's extremely green. It kind of looks like, well, I was going to say it looks like an Emerald Isle, which I guess it
which is
is.
What, hey, they call it the Emerald Isle.
I know. That's why it's so
amazing.
Dumb. Yeah, it's hilly. It looks like a little bit like New Zealand, actually.
Yeah.
But
a lot of small roads.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of quaint towns.
The roads were something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a European-sized car, which in America would be called a subcompact. You could barely fit two of them side by side with their mirrors kissing each other as they drive past each other. Forget it if you have anything larger.
Dude, I mean, we told you we took the insurance when we were there.
Yeah.
Because we were traveling. There were 4 of us together, and we were going pretty much around the island from Dublin up through Northern Ireland, up through the West Coast. And they gave us, we had asked for like an SUV, which they technically gave us, which was which is bigger, the Land Rover or Range Rover? Whichever is bigger is the one we got.
Okay.
And when they were like, do you want the insurance on the vehicle? The vehicle.
Hell yeah.
That was so, once they pointed out that the retail cost of the vehicle was like 115,000 euros. Oh yeah, we'll take the insurance. Thank you very much. And yeah, we did end up.
That's obviously a Land Rover, not a Range Rover. Yeah. So you had a car that was way too big for the road. Yes. Very luxurious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the sound. Yep, those are the little mirrors of the cars that you're driving by.
Exactly. Thuk, 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 thuk. Yep. Yeah, the mirrors there are made to bounce off other things and not break. Most American mirrors would just break off in that scenario.
Right.
They're not really meant to be bent by being hit with a baseball bat.
Right. Over.
But in Ireland, they are.
And over.
Uh-huh.
And then going on when the road's barely big enough, wide enough for one vehicle, and then a truck's coming the other way, you're like, oh.
Yeah, you're fucked. Yeah.
It's exactly. No good. But a lot of fun.
It was fun though. But I had a more reasonable, I think I had a Skoda or something, or maybe it was a Fiat, I don't remember, but it was a fairly small European car. And of course it's right-hand drive.
Oh yeah, which
you got and a manual transmission. So I was shifting with my left hand, driving with my right hand.
Don't forget the roundabouts.
Oh yeah. Roundabouts everywhere instead of stop signs or traffic lights. Stupidest idea.
So people expect you never
arguing
to stop.
how they're supposed to be more efficient, and it's such a crock of shit. They're not more efficient. That's empirically proven.
You would think they would have to be deadlier.
I think here's the thing. Like, we as Americans expect that if we're going somewhere, we're going to go in mostly a straight line. I think in Europe, or certainly in Ireland, they're not too concerned with going around the roundabout 3 or 4 times to get to where they need to go. And then, like, for us, it's like, okay, we got to get on and then skip an exit and then get off right away. So stay in this lane. Oh, you can't. Shit, that lane's ending. Okay, you got to move over to the left, then you got to jump right back to the right. I think they just kind of go straight, get on, go around the roundabout as long as it takes until they hit their exit.
Probably, yeah.
It's the goofiest thing, man. And they're getting more popular. There's some in Austin because, Austin has to be all European, not American, because we're barely Texas here.
Right, soon you'll be in Mexico.
That might get better then.
Gene's going to run a cartel.
Mexico the thing is with Mexico, which reminds me, I need to go to Mexico soon.
Oh, you got to pick up a package, Gene?
Maybe
not.
Maybe. We'll see. There might be some foreign currencies to buy that need to happen. But either way, I from listening to Ben on the other show, supposedly Trump is going to take over northern Mexico.
Well, and Canada.
But I think people have heard about Canada and Panama and Greenland, but Ben thinks it's also going to be a good chunk of Mexico. He said he's going to declare all the Mexican cartels as terrorist organizations,
right,
and effectively do the same thing we did in Iraq by just going over the border. We're going to invade the Mexican border in order to stamp out the terrorism in Mexico.
Well,
and
this
keep
is
the territory.
This is something that a close personal friend of Trump, Bill O'Reilly, has been saying. Not that we're going to have boots on the ground, but the drones. He's like, we know where the people are. We know where the cartel members live because they're not hiding in Mexico. He's like,
sovereign territory. You say sovereign territory. You can't just go and do a military action there.
They can and they do, but this is the problem. I mean, I guess problem depending on which side you're on. But if you do say, if you classify them as a terrorist organization, do you think you got the okay to go in and get Al Qaeda in all the countries that you went in and got them? No. They use this as carte blanche to go in, blow, and this is what will end up happening, I believe, if they do that. The drones go in, they blow the fuck out of all of the cartel people, and then the leaders of Mexico go, oh, and publicly they'll go, we can't believe this happened. And privately they'll be like, thank you for getting rid of those people that were taking, our country basically hostage, because the politicians don't run Mexico, kids. The cartels run Mexico. So it would be better for everybody if that were to happen. It just depends on the deal Trump is going to make with the new leader of Mexico. Maybe she'll find a way to be like, that would make a lot more sense. I don't know. Unless she's cartel adjacent, I think it would behoove her as well to get rid of them.
Yeah.
With that said, we do have Weenie Wawa who came in with $10. He comes in with $10 a month, man. So thank you, Weenie Wawa. Darren Rundle came in with $5.65. He said he's on a doctor's ordered near carnivore diet and then says, bacon, which is the most beautiful thing when the doctor's like, you can only eat meat. You're like, bacon? He's like, is that meat? Yes, it is. Woo! And Kevin Seifert with his $5 a month. I mean, you want to get on a monthly donation if you want this show to stick around. Unrelenting.show/donate. Click one of those buttons. Do it today.
Yeah, test the buttons. Make sure they work. Tell us if they don't or do.
And then get through the whole process. That would be the best.
Well, obviously, we got to test the whole process.
We need at least like $1,100 yearly donations just to make sure that that's...
we need to test it. Yeah, make sure it works right.
For science, of course. But we never had the /donate up on Unrelenting because we thought we were going to go with locals. Shocker. Remember that?
Amazing. Yeah, we were going to use locals. Yeah.
I think we still have the link to locals too, so we probably need to kill that.
Probably could remove that. Yeah. And locals, I think, is not a bad way to go for people that have popular podcasts.
Yes. Well, that's not us, obviously.
No, that's definitely not us. We get like 5 people listening.
And I mean, I may need some B12 because Gene and I did a great show about a week ago. I mean, it was fantastic. I thought it was one of our better shows. That's true. And at the end of the conversation, Gene said, don't forget to bring this up so I talk about this on the show.
Yeah.
And
what was I going to talk about?
I have no idea what it was.
God damn it.
I know you said there was something very important that I remind you of.
It? Yeah, well, that's why I told you to remind me, because I knew I would forget.
Show.
Like, I clearly knew I was going to forget what it was. I can't think of it.
We need some B12.
Something.
We need a lot of B12. I know you've been playing with them.
We've always said this show is just basically allowing other people to listen in on our phone call. And, we had a phone call a few days ago that we did that turned out not to be recorded. And, but it was literally the exact same thing we're doing right now.
We talked a lot about AI.
Did we?
I think so.
I don't remember.
We talked a lot about funding of shows.
I'm sure that topic is pretty universal. That comes up pretty regularly.
All podcasters are like, well, what we need to do is this is how we monetize.
Mm-hmm.
We need video. We need video, Gene, because people need to see our pretty face. You told me it didn't matter what was on the video feed. It could be a little bug jumping around.
Oh, you were recording it. Okay, good.
It should have been. I mean,
yeah, really. Shocker that you didn't.
I recorded it in my brain.
I do think that people that do pure voice podcasts, but then slap on the video that just even has waveforms on it, basically just some squiggly stuff happening on the screen while their podcast is playing. I think that still does better than just pure audio.
It would make sense because then there's something on the screen and people are like, oh, I can just zone out.
Generally, people listen to podcasts as a secondary activity anyway, while you're driving or while you're doing whatever. So, but a lot of people use YouTube the exact same way too. Well, they'll flip on a channel and then actually be doing something, whether it's cooking in the kitchen. You got the iPad with YouTube running, which is what I do.
Hey, did you know the guy? I think he was in Texas. They got pulled over doing 100 miles an hour and says he was distracted because he was playing a video game while driving.
Was he driving a Tesla?
He might have been. I don't know.
That would be okay in a Tesla, at least.
You're like, the car's driving itself. What's nothing to worry about?
Yeah, exactly. If you're in a manual transmission car, that might be a little more of an issue.
It's a little trickier. It takes a lot more talent.
Game, are you playing Need for Speed? What game are you playing in the car?
Exactly. While you're driving.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate in meta. You're driving the city in Need for Speed that you are actually driving with your vehicle.
That'd be pretty wild.
In the last 30 days, 325,000 podcasts have been published. So of those shows, so not everybody has a podcast.
Well, everybody's on a podcast. I still stick to that. I think that some people may be guests on podcasts. They're not necessarily running their own, but also at some point, almost everyone has started a podcast, even if they just made one episode. So looking at what you need to look at is how many unique podcast episodes came out, and then compare that to next month and remove the exact same podcast. So basically, how many brand new podcasts are there every month? That's why
they don't show that, which I would like. Also, on the podcastindex.org listing, it goes from 3 days to 10 days. I want to see 7 days. Because for most people, if you're doing weekly, when there's 171,000 every 10 days, that leads me to believe there's probably like 120,000.
Yeah, some of them are multi. Yep.
You're getting right. In that 10 days, you're getting
doubling
twice.
Up. Yeah.
So it's like, I'd be curious.
Some people do bi-weekly shows. Yeah, I don't know why you would do 10 days. It should be 7 days, 14 days, 28 days.
Yes. I don't know why they do that either. It's 10, 30, 60, 90.
Man? What are they thinking?
I don't know. We could ask them on the next show, though, which would be Dave and Adam do Podcasting 2.0 right here.
Oh, yeah. We should. Well, too bad they don't listen to the end of this show. Otherwise, we could just ask them at the end of the show.
Like, how does this work? Why does this work? Can we do a different filter to see this information?
Yeah. Why is it 10 days? 10 days doesn't seem like it's the correct metric given weekly podcasts.
Right, because nobody's like, hey, we're going to release an Unrelenting every 10 days, everybody.
Nobody
how confusing that would be.
No. Oh, my God.
Every 10 days. Let's do that.
Yeah.
But that it shows you how many, 4.4 million have been started when you have 100, when you have 325. Let's just even say there are some podcasts which are once a month. What percentage does that leave? 325. So it's like, what, 10% of all podcasts started are around still? About 90% of podcasts in the index are no longer being updated then.
Yep.
Because every 90 days, that's even a better metric, I guess. The last 90 days, 468,000. And again, there's 4.4 million. So that's very close to about 10%. So 90% of the podcasts in the index are not updating within the 90-day frame. So it's a big number. A lot of people start them, but it should have like a health meter. You know, like when you go and you're downloading a torrent illegally, maybe, where they show you the health and like how many seeds and how many. Well, we need to know like how many are still kicking around.
Mm-hmm.
Unrelenting is in fact unrelenting. When the face of all of this adversary,
yeah,
we are still producing shows regularly.
Well, except when we're not.
But we do. I mean, we do at least like 48 shows a year, which for most, we take a week off here and there.
What year are we on there? 2 or 3?
3, I think. It's got to be 3 because this is episode 140.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's got to be in our third year.
I think so. Yeah. So for sure, third year, because we did like 20 episodes of the other show.
Yeah, like 8,000 of that other show.
Well, I don't know about 8,000, but
and those episodes
20.
have all been buried. We should add those to the OnlyFans. But nobody listens to old episodes. That's
I don't, and I assume nobody does. But I'm always surprised of people talking about. Oh, I went back and listened to the old. In fact, I can look at my stats, and there are for Unrelenting, for Good Old Boys, because I don't have the stats for Unrelenting. And there are old episodes are still being downloaded.
Just 2 good old boys. Well, people listen for.
What did you think of the new theme music that we did for that show?
Now, the latest ones that you sent, can I play those? Would people be
well? It's updated, so all the episodes now have the new theme music.
Now, how do you magically do that? Is this something that
it's part of a feature of Buzzsprout?
So if you change your theme, it updates it automatically.
Yep.
That seems wrong on so many levels. You're rewriting history. Is this why we're not hearing about honey in the Good Old Boys? Was it just edited out by the magic of the AI?
They have a powerful AI. Let me just tell you that.
Is it named CSB?
They have a powerful AI.
There was something. What was I looking at? Oh my God. It sucks getting old when you're like, I was looking at something and I
spaced out and I can't remember. You feel yourself turning into Homer Simpson, or is that?
Oh, yeah, kind of. I kind of do. There was something, and I was laughing hysterically about because the name, the SKU for the product was CSB1.
Oh, that's too funny.
I know, and I was like, whoa. I'd be like, that's
what product might that be?
No, I don't remember. It's like, what were we supposed to talk about, Gene, on the show? It was very important.
Probably B12.
Right. Take enough about. B12.
Yeah.
We need to start doing like little voice notes and stuff when we're like, okay, make sure we talk about that. We can play those on the show.
Well, nothing's preventing us from just leaving little notes to ourselves on our phones and then looking at the phone and, oh yeah, we were going to talk about this. Oh, frankly, a lot of shows do something that is just a shared Google Doc and then have a new page per show, or maybe just keep one page running and scroll down to the bottom of it to see or maybe you do it up top. But the point being, put show notes in before the show during the week. And that way you've got a list of what all you're going to talk about.
And now I remember what it was. It was the cheapest bun coffee maker, the Bun CSB1 Speed Brew Select coffee maker.
Oh, that's funny.
So you are a coffee maker, CSB. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
They should send you one for free.
Yeah, because they do that. Not.
Well, they're on sale for $79.99 right now on bun.com. Use coupon code Unrelenting to get.
Bun is the coffee maker manufacturer.
Yes, BUNN. They're allegedly, I mean, they're in the all of like
They've
the
been
cafes.
around forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in, I think they're all based in America and all that kind of BS.
Or China, but yeah.
I mean, they probably make them in China and then assemble like them here. Yeah. Country of origin, of course, China.
Yeah. But I've heard that name forever.
And they're the ones that they make for home. They kind of like the Keurig K-Cup machines. They keep a 70-ounce stainless steel bit of water in stainless steel where the water sits, and it keeps it hot all the time. So it doesn't have to heat up when you want it.
And that's what I have with my hot water dispenser for tea.
Because you got to have it, man. You're spending energy to keep that convenience of being able to press a button.
But it's Japanese. And so it's like a real hot water for tea device.
And Bemrose doubles as a coffee maker. Did you know that? He's making coffee right now.
I would not be surprised given the city he lives in.
You got to get the coffee going, man.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody would ever get any work done in Seattle if it wasn't for coffee.
I don't know. Like, one, I'm surprised they're not the most efficient people in the world because they got to be so jacked up on caffeine.
Dude, it's like, it's cloudy and like it's never sunny there. It's a depressing city, frankly.
And did you
it's
see
a very
the
depressing
thing
city,
I posted on
amazing
X
to do any work
to Apple with like I have questions and Apple didn't answer my question yet, which was my
you sent the question to Apple on X?
Yes, it was the little notifications that they want to give you on your Macs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got my weekly report available, and it said last week you averaged 151 hours and 55 minutes of screen time per day on this device. And I'm like, Apple, I've got questions.
That seems excessive to me. I don't know, man. It just feels like that's a lot.
And no berets like, well, now we understand how you get so many podcasts out a week.
Right?
Get 151 hours a day.
Now, everybody thinks you're doing them live, but the little secret is you're actually recording all of them in one day and you just play them as though they're live.
Right. And soon I've got the AI that has learned the voice that can just do it and boom. Gene and I are both on a beach somewhere right now.
I've got your voice on my AI already.
And it wasn't real. I mean, it didn't sound right. It was not.
Everybody could have sworn it was you.
Okay. Then I want to do a test on the next show. I want you to make, it doesn't even have to be long sentences.
I stopped paying for it, so I'm not going to be making any voices.
Oh, see, but you need to. I want to know.
Well, you can pay for it yourself and make your own voice.
Like the music thing. Here's the other thing I want to know, folks.
Music's pretty good.
As a longtime songwriter who hasn't written a song in a while, but I've got a bunch. I've got hundreds of songs that I've written.
I'm sure you do in your head.
No, they're on. Most of them have been poorly recorded with a back in the day. And sadly, it sounds better than some of like the bootlegs and stuff that I hear now. Remember the old plastic little boom microphones that came with like a desktop back 20 years ago?
Yeah.
You used to use that to record and have decent recordings off of that a lot of them. Now I have really good equipment, but what I would like with this AI, it's like, I don't need you to fucking write a melody. I don't need you to fucking write the words. I want you to be able to take a really lo-fi recording of a person strumming a guitar and singing the song and convert that into a polished, finished product.
Okay. I'm sure that exists.
Because that would be I mean, especially for songwriters, demo makers back in the day, you needed the 4-track or you needed to go pay somebody to do the demo.
Yeah. I had a Tascam 4-track.
Oh, I do too. I still have it sitting somewhere in the closet.
I don't. I got rid of it.
I never get rid of anything.
I know.
That's kind of the problem. I have probably video. I mean, I have so much computer gear that if I would have sold the minute I was done with it. But now it's like the prices go down and down and down. But if you need like vintage, GPUs and CPUs, like I got them, man. They're in the basement somewhere.
Vintage.
Vintage. Well, that should be more money. Although I wish I would have saved my like Apple IIe rather than although I think I got like $500 when I sold the thing off.
Wow, that's pretty good.
With all of the discs and all. I mean, also selling the TRS-80 color computer. Can you only imagine? Because half this, well, not half, almost everything for the Trash 80 color computer was stored on cassette tape.
Yeah.
Can you even imagine how poorly that would go today? Like those tapes do not hold up extremely well.
Yeah, you'd be surprised though. Yeah, remember the density of storage was very low. And that stuff, like the reason that we can still talk to Voyager, the probe, is because it was made in the 70s.
Oh, that's
we cannot talk to more modern equipment that is that age.
Remember I said Grumpy Old Ben's #1 was recorded on one of those microphones. You see, those things are still around and they still sound decent.
They've never sounded decent.
Dude, they sound decent. But that I would like to one I want to find out.
Okay, switch to one right now. Let's see what a difference.
Do you think I have one? I mean, that would be great if I did.
Yes, I do think you have.
I know I have one somewhere, but let me switch to the microphone. We just plug it right in here. And to be fair, with the processing that I do, probably sound exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't notice a difference. It's like, wait.
I'm sure you would notice a difference. Which one are you on? Are you on the...
I love the RE20. I can't get off the RE20.
Yeah. I know. Same thing. Yeah.
You got
Except
the 320.
The 320, yeah.
I like it, and I've got the big ball of foam on the end so I can get right up on it.
Yep, exactly.
And it's got that radio
distance
vibe.
That you should be far enough from your mic is the thickness of the foam.
On these microphones, yes.
Yes.
Others, maybe not so much.
Well, that's because these microphones also have like 6 inches in length on the other one there.
Yeah, well, the Shure SM7B, the thing that drives me nuts there is kids. Let me just tell you, if you have a Shure SM7B,
everyone has one of those now.
And you like to talk close to the mic like I do, buy, I don't think they come with it, but you can buy a bigger windscreen to go on those that will do the same thing that I've got going here with the RE20, and it keeps you far enough away and it brings the plosives down to a minimum. The Shure SM7B, with people that don't know how to fucking use the microphone, including really professional, allegedly people like Joe Rogan and Tim Pool and all these other motherfuckers keep popping the peas right into the fucking microphone. It's like, stop!
I know.
And here's the other thing. If you would just process the fucking audio after correctly, you could get rid of those.
Well, none of those people have sound engineers. They have buddies that work for them.
But they make enough money where they should have a sound engineer.
Like somebody that actually learned about sound engineering and knows how to do it.
Yeah.
And because I know about as much as all these guys' buddies about sound engineering, I would never call myself a sound engineer.
But you know probably more than the people that are producing those shows.
Possibly.
It's like, and there are very simple plugins like, plosive remover. Hey, maybe you should try that. And I understand you don't want to over process things, but if you are hitting the plosives, and it will happen with that, because it's such a minor little windscreen that comes with the SM7B. It's barely enough fabric to cover the metal. Like, you need a little bit more. And then, okay, maybe you have to EQ it a little. I get it. It's a dark microphone. But do the work.
And you got to pump up the preamp on it. It's just too much work. I have no idea why that is the mic that became popular for streamers. Like, that makes no freaking sense to me. It's a finicky mic to use. I mean, I understand why it became. It's because of Joe Rogan.
Right.
Everybody just saw the videos and they're like, oh, well, if he's using it, that's what I should buy. How much are they? $380. Okay, give me 5.
Right. Well, they have a nice look. I'll give them that. They're a simplistic look compared to like what I've got, which is, if you go and watch news radio and those old shows of radio stations, that's what I have. It's a big fucking spider, the shock mount. Right. I mean, with the big...
You don't need a shock mount for them. That's the other thing is the RE series of mics, the 320, they don't need shock mounts. They are
you do. They got to be suspended in that cradle of shockiness.
Not at all.
It's got to be. It's the only way to get the best sound. That's why your voice doesn't sound good.
They literally print on the box. One of the benefits is that they are internally shock proof.
No, that's the SM7B that does that.
No.
Yeah, it is. That's the internal shock, because you can't put the SM7B into a shock mount because it's all in one piece.
What do you mean it's all in one piece?
It's not just an individual microphone. You got the way it is with the stand adapter and everything attached right into the microphone. into the SM7B.
It's just got a stupid adapter. That whole mic is just a pain in the butt. It sounds good if you go through all the hoops and you jump. Sure, it sounds good, but it is not a mic I would ever recommend to anybody other than an actual sound engineer that wants to set things up their own way. It just don't buy it. Y'all don't need it. You really don't.
But Michael Jackson used it.
It's a mic that only professionals are going to benefit from. Nobody else is going to benefit from that mic.
I bought most of my microphones because, the first one was, sorry, everybody, because of Leo Laporte, I got the Heil PR40.
Of course you did.
And it's still a decent microphone. I stand behind it. They're based out of Illinois. The Heil folks seem nice, and it is a quality microphone.
A little Nazi-ish to me.
Heil, everybody, sing Heil. Then it was because of Glenn Beck. I saw him using the Shure SM7B. I saw him using the RE20. I saw him using the, what's the one that's like the squarish? It never occurred
to you that he just has a mic fetish?
He might, and I think I do, and Bandrew does.
He does have a mic. He's talked about it. Like, he just likes getting a whole bunch of mics.
They're awesome. I mean, every mic has a slightly different sound. Now, I can't remember.
That is the wrong way to do it, people. You should do it the way that I did it, which is
buy one and stick with it no matter what.
You go to the store and you say, I would like to buy a mic for voiceovers.
And they're like, let me hear you
limit your mic selection. And then you go through and you actually record yourself on 5 or 6 or 10 mics. And then you listen to which one you like the sound of the most, which one had the least of the explosives, which one were you the most consistent volume wise, that you weren't going back and forth in volume.
You're losing you buy that people one. With going to a store.
Easy. Yeah. Oh my God. Well, you could do this virtually. You could totally do this virtually. You find a YouTube channel where they analyze mics specifically for voiceovers, not for recording, a musician singing.
Yeah, find Bandrew's channel.
And then a good channel like that will have a comparison where they're recording the exact same thing with multiple mics and then playing it back without any filtering, so you can hear what each mic adds or subtracts from that sound. And then when you get to that place, you're like, good, I'm done. Now you may end up doing this several times because your ability to spend money changes over time.
Well, maybe the best mic you can become a podcaster.
Yeah.
How to make $1 million in podcasting. Start with $1 billion.
And I still have all the mics that I've bought.
Oh yeah, I do too.
I'm staring at my old AKG, which was a $220 mic, which is about as expensive as I was ever going to spend on a mic when I bought it.
Except for the Neumann that I'm like, oh, sell it to me, Gene, sell it to me cheap. And then somebody actually offered you real money.
They did offer me real money, and then they backed out of it.
So you still have the Neumann?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh, well, send it to me. Bremmer said his method was easier. He said, I need a new mic, and Darren told me which one to buy.
Right, but that's how you end up
320.
Yeah. I mean, which is the right mic. I mean, he didn't lie to you, but your odds of him lying were about 50-50.
True.
So you could have gotten stuck with an RE20 instead.
I bought my
luckily
RE320.
You got an RE320.
The RE320 I bought April of 2018. The RE20 December of 2020. So I had about the 320 for about a year and a half.
Well, that AKG mic I thought sounded great until I realized that it didn't. But that mic weighs like 3 pounds.
Well, yeah,
I have no idea why.
Because there's stuff in it, man.
There's all kinds of stuff in there, apparently, that I didn't realize that they don't put in other mics.
And then I tried, and I liked the way it sounded. It would have been, it would probably work if I ever moved the podcasting studio back into the basement, because the basement is carpeted. There are things on the walls where I sit to do the podcasting. The table is a little bit more in the middle of the room, so that it does not have anywhere near as much of a reverb issue as this office has.
Yeah.
But is the microphone that Beck had, that one hanging from the ceiling when Adam went in?
Yeah, the white one?
Yeah. Who made that? I'm like totally blanking. Banjo, I need help. It's the B12. I need
I don't think Banjo listens to this.
No, not live. He'd be like, I don't have time to listen to that.
There,
live.
I just sent you a picture of that AKG mic.
Oh, you're going to send me one for a late Christmas gift?
You don't want it.
Sending a few Neumanns over. Hello, Neumann.
Few Neumanns. And the Neumann, I was well, I don't know if I was disappointed necessarily, but I certainly didn't feel like it made me sound any better, which I was expecting. As soon as I plugged in the Neumann, I would start sounding like Howard Stern, because
like a professional, right? You're like, this is all I need.
I was like, wait a minute, this is bullshit. I don't sound like Howard Stern in this thing.
Yeah, that looks like the one I started with, which was a condenser from MXL, was it? And it's like $100, something like that. You speak into the side, and you're like, oh, it's a the other that was great for doing podcasting until one day I was like, what the fuck is the buzzing in the line? And I'm plugging things in, I'm unplugging things.
Yeah.
The little mini fridge, like 45 feet away.
Yeah.
It was picking that up. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's why condenser microphones aren't good if you just want to pick up the noise of your voice. Yeah,
you got to be isolated for sure.
And that is a big part of it. You have to be isolated if you want a microphone that isn't totally forgiving. If you want you don't want the microphone that picks up everything.
What the condensers have, you don't really need for what we're doing.
No.
Because it has a much larger range of volume before distortion kicks in.
Right.
So if you're in a band,
that's good.
And you got a lot of loud sounds on stage happening, that mic will be very good for that.
Big difference between podcasting and rock and roller.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. I just think that and the way that I found the REs was I had met a guy through some organization we were in that was the GM of a radio station in Dallas, the Patriot.
Hey, well, you got it on the Patriot right here in Dallas, everybody, 93.5.
I don't think they were 93.5, but yeah, it was the Patriot in Dallas. And so it was all the conservative talk shows around there. And so I said, hey, let's grab lunch, and then, you give me a tour of the station afterwards. And so we did that. I went down to the radio station, and it was the first time I ever really looked at what a radio station looks like. And it's a nondescript small building. And instead of cubicles, it has tiny little booths and a whole bunch of them. And, sound booths. And then you got glass on one side of the booth, and you got the deadening materials on the other sides. And every single one of them had an RE20 in it. And I was like, what is that mic? I've never seen that thing. And so he told me, oh yeah, this is pretty typical. Most radio stations use these. I was like, holy shit, that's got to be it. That's the mic that's made for people talking. Well, I mean, for men talking at least.
Right.
And
well, why would you ever want women to talk?
Well, that's a different question. I was I meant the characteristics of the pitch of a male voice, but sure, we can go there as well.
Yeah, it was a joke, ladies. No women listen to this show.
No. Well, I shared with you my YouTube demographics because they know that for sure, right? Guess what percent women?
14.
0.04. I have one woman and 1,800 guys listening or watching my YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. See, I realized the magic of the vocal processor was the Symmetrix 528E vocal processor.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because of the dude that runs WCKG here. I'm like, hey, what do you, what would you use? He's like, oh, you can find these things used because everybody's pulling out the analog gear and putting in digital.
Yep.
And these things originally sold for like $1,200. I picked one up for like $100 and it works beautifully. So if you're a podcaster and you can find one of those on eBay, the 528E Symmetrix, Symetrix, does a fine job.
Mm-hmm.
That's where all the magic happens. Although I did add then into that chain the Big Bottom. But the Big Bottom is just a little thing. This is with the Big Bottom and the oral exciter. This is without the Big Bottom and oral exciter.
Yeah, just a little tiny little difference there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not huge, but it adds to that beauty. It's like it gets you right in the vibe.
Yeah, it goes from AM to FM.
Exactly. It brings that extra bit of excitement right to the show.
Just think of how good my voice actually is because I'm not using one of those.
You know, and I have that second channel. I need to figure out, although I would have to run wires about 6 feet across the desk and back, but I'm pretty sure with the Motu, I can still jack you through the other channel of the oral exciter and Big Bottom.
You could. I don't think you need to, but you could. Yeah.
Well, you still have the channel strip with that. That is,
I keep forgetting to send you that. I really promised you that. Like
we got to get the power. We got to figure out the power.
I guarantee you that is the only part of it that is broken is the power supply died. So I'm sure that gets replaced. And that was the last product they ever made before they got sold to Rode.
Oh, I did not know so that's why Rode has them involved in all of that.
They got bought by Rode. And so this was their $1,100 channel strip that has digital and analog in it. So it has both digital processing and analog processing. And this is one thing I don't remember whether it had a tube amp or a non-tube amp. I'm going to say probably not a tube amp.
No, because it would have to be easily to open it up and get to the tube.
Yeah. And then this thing, because it would have had a cool looking glow if it had a tube amp and it didn't have a glow. But the amps that it used were some fancy super low noise amps
which is what you want. You don't want high noise.
Right. But again, this is all shit that's more important for speaking than it is for music because
music noise
you
floor.
just overpower all that stuff.
Yeah, totally.
So the noise doesn't matter as much.
You could have the noisiest vocal mic in the world and you're not going to hear it over the metal infused guitars.
Right.
So we don't remember what you were going to talk about this show. Not one boost during the show today. Not one.
Good. That's the way we like it.
Not a single boost. Thanks to Eric PP, though. He did get the filtering on Helipad, so now I can choose the show, so you don't have to worry about getting like pew-pews from other shows while you're live.
Good, because that's annoying.
Yes. Well, it's annoying to get a pew-pew for your show.
It's always annoying.
It's really annoying when it's for a different... Oh, somebody just sent money into a different show. All right.
Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. Thanks for the interruption. Yeah, exactly.
Just go to just2goodoldboys.com, subscribe, and go to unrelenting.show/donate now and click one of those buttons. Hey, they're easy
and go to
now.
Random Thoughts and subscribe to that.
Of course.
Do not have a co-host.
It's the other way. It's not a real podcast, according to CSB, if there's only one person.
The authority has spoken, apparently.
The other way if you want to go the long route of supporting Unrelenting, you could send equal donations into Sir Gene Speaks and Random Thoughts, because then it's split exactly in the right way.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Elon, figure out this problem.
Elon.
I mean, there are so many fucking podcasts now, and I bet you a lot of these things.
Everybody has a podcast. I'm telling you right now.
All of these things disintegrate when it's like, when there's like 4 or 5 people on a show. Oh, hey, Joey, why are you the one getting the fucking money? I don't, Joey, why are you getting the fucking money? This is where it all breaks down. Like, everybody thinks there's going to be millions of dollars to spend.
Well, yeah, there really isn't.
No, although you got a few 100,000 sats sitting here on my node, and I'm like, I can pull the node out from
nice
under
of you
Gene.
to notice.
Yeah, I could just pull it right on out. Was from our buddy Srini. said on the Fediverse, which I know you don't exist on anymore. It's like, boom. No. Gene does not exist on the Fediverse. If you want to go to a place where Gene does not exist.
Oh, there's lots of those.
Oh, and your buddy, listening to my Slavic half-bro Darren and a Jew. Wow. Mm-hmm. That's, did you say that?
Not racist at all or anything, but okay, go ahead.
Sritty says, when Darren mentioned on Grumpy Old Ben's that he's going to keep all the Satoshis he's received from Gene, I said to myself, here we go again. Americans keeping Russian money and not returning it.
Yeah, that's typical.
I bet that money goes to pay off that Mac Mini and that docking station. At least it's not being used to fund a war.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. That was the beauty of it. I'm like, no, it's just sitting here. I mean, technically, you have that Get LB account that you attached.
Apparently rubles in reserve sitting in your bank.
And you can, but see, here's the thing with the Get LB account that you have, you can actually spend that. You can still transfer that by logging into that, having it in your Get LB browser.
Yeah.
As long as you can see that, it's like that exists on my, so if you're like, hey, I really want to boost a show. You can do that. If you want to make that into gift cards, you have control of that. Now, what I've learned is if I just go in and delete the Gene account on my node, all of those Satoshis just go into my account.
They just melt into you.
Yeah, it just melts into my account. So, I mean, if there's an accident, Gene, and somebody's like, oh, I deleted the Gene account.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do not want to do that. Do not want to do that.
Luckily, we didn't get any more sats coming in, so nothing for you to calculate the split on.
Not one day. Well, I actually separated them, which I was. Somebody do a test boost. I want to make sure it comes in. But with that said, we are running.
Yeah, do it after the show's over.
Yeah, do it after the show because we are on a hard out. And coming up next, if you're listening live on the stream, you'll get Adam Curry and Dave Jones podcasting 2.0.
And don't forget to ask Dave Jones, 10 days? What's that all about?